one and all, and welcome to It's Not Between Sisters, it's not up for debate, but it is between family. I am Kaya, and I am here with my road dogs, my peeps, my Sancho Pay, Monte Carlo, and Maldive homies. That's right, I'm here with my fam, Bam. First in tonight, I got Shauna Dawn. My son said, is Auntie Shauna always the first one in?
She is. She is.
I was like, pretty much. Next in was Keish. Next in was Noone B. Next in was EVE. Chris will be in shortly. He's on that CP time. You know, he's running a little late. You know, that's what happens with fam, you know. But we are here together at last, between family style. And you know, today we are here to talk about a plethora of things. But first off, we want to talk about Chris. Not the one that we're waiting for, but Chris Rock. He has caused a little bit of a ruckus because of his stand-up on Netflix. You know, Chris is from Brooklyn, which I am representing tonight.
You think?
You know, and I've had mixed emotions about him in the past for, you know, for some of the things that he's done. You know, Pootie Tang wasn't my favorite. You know, I Think I Love My Wife. Top 5 was one of his better pieces. Fargo was probably one of the better pieces, bodies of work that he was in, that I was like, okay, Chris, I can see you seriously acting here, you know. But this particular Netflix special was, I think, something that he was literally, you know how back in the day when we used to double dutch and we used to wait to get in a rope, we had to wait to get that rhythm, to get in a rope at the right time, so we don't get slapped in the face by that hard telephone cord. I think that this was what Chris Rock was doing when he wrote these skits for this particular special, because it was lackluster for the most part. But in my opinion, because of the fact that at the end, he was frothing at the lips.
Why she always gotta go?
They edited that part out. So when I saw it, I didn't see that. I'm just saying. So now it has been fixed and edited. So unless you saw it live, you didn't see froth.
So is it fair to say he was looking like Pookie?
It be calling me. It be calling me, man. It be calling me. It be calling.
Wait, that really happened?
I saw the froth. You know how when you talk and you so
She sees stuff that
Yeah, she's
nobody
a
else
bully.
sees.
I am not a bully.
She's a
I
bully.
beg your most honorable pardon. I will not let you put that toe tag on me. I am not no bully.
She sees
She's a bully.
I am not.
far from when they were 8, and when they fell, she sees it under the arm. It's like she sees that.
She's the type that was screenshot and
don't see.
enlarge it.
She's like, oh,
She's that person.
That mark is in the shape of a moon. Just like, how do you see that? That's
Nah. I'm sorry, but this special is called Selective Outrage. And part of a lot of the stuff that he was saying, I actually agreed with.
It's true. We do have selective outrage.
Wait. Before we go any further, shout out to Will Smith for getting Chris Rock paid and making this badass stand-up relevant, because that joint was trash, and the only reason it mattered was because Will Smith's name was attached to it. So shout out to Will Smith.
The last frothy 5 minutes.
I'm just
okay.
Wait, so was the ashy lips and all that other? That was only like on the live taping. They edited that out.
No,
I didn't see it live.
I saw it. I didn't see it live. I saw it on the actual Netflix special. You didn't see how he was. You know how you when the creases of your mouth.
Yeah, but I guess I wasn't
are white
paying attention
because you are adamant and you don't know how to.
Or even have like a bottle of water on the stage. Like he didn't want that.
He's just not entertaining.
Can we
to
get
me. Like
past the false? Like with all this, with all the stuff he said, you talking about the froth.
Okay. Well, okay. All right.
We spent like a good 20 minutes on it already.
All right. Okay. All right. Let me do my Joe Pesci. Okay. All right. Okay. So. Okay. All right. Okay. So. Number one, Will Smith said that he was very disappointed about what?
Did he actually say that?
Apparently.
He didn't. There was no, I say this. It's all,
A source said.
A source said. And
a source close to Will says that he was disappointed about Chris's statements.
Say how he feels.
But Chris went in on Jada. He called Jada a B. He said that she started it because she told him to quit his job after Will was not nominated for his role in Concussion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that Oscar So White year. Mm-hmm. Which she did. She did call for Chris to stand in solidarity with them.
Everybody jumped to boycott.
And, you know, Chris was like, nope. And then he talked about her in the show that year.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think he said the word bitch like 8 times, right? 7 or 8 times.
He OD'd. Like,
it was a lot.
Man, he was doing like, it was whack to me because it was like, all right, bro, you do like, you're only talking like that because this is a Netflix special.
Well, okay, so first of all, I think he needs to be applauded for even, how much did he make?
40 million.
Listen, man.
Shout out to Will Smith for that.
Oh, shout out to Chris for waiting 340 days or 50 days, whatever you want to call it.
The week before the
Oscars.
Yeah. That was clever.
That was strategic.
That was clever. Let me tell y'all, I remember when there's a Taco Bell that I used to frequent on, I ain't gonna say which street that is, and I used to frequent there like 2 to 3 times a week. And I used to get the $5 box. Okay, and then I would gladly pay $6.25, whatever they were really charging me for the $5 box. And then when I found out at that same Taco Bell, a couple sued them and won because they was not selling the $5 box for $5. I was pissed because I said as many times as I ate that $5 box for $6.25,
you could have been winning.
Not mad at no Chris Rock. He was clever on how he did it. He could have did an interview with Oprah Winfrey. He could have did an interview with Gail 2 to 3 months after or 2 to 3 weeks after. No, he waited 355 days and made $40 million. Let me tell you something. Listen, he could have said A, B, C, D, E,
I said that. He could have said whatever.
I don't give a crap. I don't care what came out that man's mouth, but let's talk about what came out that man's mouth. So one of the things, okay, so I do agree, his stand-up was not like his previous shows. He a lot of people were saying he was corny. I get it. But one of the things I admire about Chris is that he says things that we think. Mm-hmm. And we are not allowed to say. So, when he talked about them Kardashians, and he talked about how Chris was all them crackheads and, the bipolar people, when he like, who was saying? No one in their right mind would have said it up until that point. We were all thinking it, but we would never have cracked our lips and said, not even on this show, where we had said Kris Jenner's bringing all these crackheads and bipolar people in her house. Then when he was talking about, what else he talked about? Oh, when he talked about old girl, Meghan, what's her name?
Meghan Markle.
Yeah, when he was talking about the whole thing with the about the color of the baby.
Yeah.
And when he mentioned, we do the same thing. Because when I heard that back then, I was sitting there looking at the interview like, bitch, we do the same thing. As soon as that baby come out, when you go see somebody's baby in the nursery, the first thing you do is looking at them ears. Let me see what color them ears are. Oh, okay, they don't look like the parents. So black people, we do the same exact thing. So he brought up issues that we think of, but he has the balls to say it. And it's only a handful of leaders, whether they're comedians or celebrities or activists like Trump and Farrakhan and Sharpton. There's only a handful of them, or maybe let's say 2 handfuls of them, that are willing to step out and say the things that we would love to say. And that's what that's what Chris is known for. He did it. It may not have been as funny as we are normally used to him saying it, but he did what Chris normally does. Because at one point he said something, I was like, damn. And this is way before he started talking about Will Smith and Jada. I was like, that's why he got his ass slapped, because he pushes the envelope. He says the things that all of us want to say. He's the type of person that, like, if the stuff you want to say about the people at your job, you should just have Chris Rock come and do a stand up at your job and say all the shit that you wish you would say, because he would say it. Okay.
I was saying that when I was listening to some of the jokes, I was like, he gonna get slapped again. He's gonna get slapped again. He's gonna get slapped again. He's not. I don't know. I never been a Chris Rock fan though. Like, it's just like I don't know if it's his voice or he's just so corny to me. Like, even though he tells the truth, it's just like I won't sit there and be like, oh, let me go watch it. No, like I only really watched it because we had to talk about it, honestly. Like,
now Shauna and Kaya, when he was talking about the reason why dudes be dating young girls because they just want some shoes. Oh, yeah. Daddy, like these shoes? Can
I get these shoes? Can I get these shoes? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then when he's dating an older woman,
I need my roof fix.
Yeah. He's like, can you come with me to go get the car fixed?
She only got like $38.
Like, if you...
He said he be standing like a sexual scarecrow. Cause that shit is real. I see bitches do that. We know bitches right now that do that. So, Chris could have been a lot funnier, but he touched on issues that needed to be discussed. What other issues did he talk about?
One thing that he said that I had to be like, you know what? Because I watched the whole Harry and Meghan documentary on Netflix, and I was just like, okay, yeah, right. I'm Harry and Meghan all the way. But then when I thought about it, what he said was just like, yo, the British monarchy is like the OGs of racism, like of colonialism, and like
what you thought it was gonna be like.
I was just like, you know what, you're right. Like,
they not gonna march.
Like, they invented the joint. Like,
yes. Corey Holcomb, I like him. He's very raw. Like Corey,
Corey is a savage.
He is. I cringe.
Corey is a savage.
So Chris, in a sense, is a savage where he talks about issues that affect Black people or issues that are interrelated to with Black culture. You know, Corey be talking about hoes and bitches and, you know, abortions and stuff, shit like that.
The name of it was Selective Outrage, which we all have. After George Floyd, all of the businesses were saying we stand against racism. We are the dumb and equal opportunity. After things happen, done with the trans, we stand with trans people. It's selective when they want our dollars, but then the flip side won't carry the abortion pill. They won't do the AI training. There's no people of color in the C-suite. Well, I would hope that his goal was people to take a look at themselves to see that they have their own selective outrage. The part that I liked and I agreed with most is how now so many people are the victim. You know, they're crying and everything as soon as somebody say something, it's a thing. I remember as a kid, you fell, you bumped your head, you're bleeding, you're sick, throwing up. Your mother said, "Here's this, the ginger ale, drink this, and go take a nap." And that was it. Like there was no, like you know, no, it was. It's over with.
Tussin.
Yeah, the Robitussin.
Like
and the saltine crackers.
Some crackers and go take a nap. So I think that he did what he set out to do. To everybody, I think they tuned in more so for the Will Smith dumb joke because he didn't respond for that 355 days that
and he did interviews in between,
but he
never spoke about it.
Not for nothing, I love Will, but he wouldn't have done that to Samuel L. Jackson. He wouldn't have done that to Dave Chappelle standing up there. He wouldn't have done that to any Will.
Oh yeah.
He wouldn't have done that to anybody else.
That's why I think he named it Selective Outrage, piggybacking on what you're saying, Shauna. Because when he started saying that all the people that called you a bitch, that's why
he named Charlemagne. He named a whole bunch of people.
You came at me, someone that you could be.
He was just like, let's be clear. Your wife slept with your son's friend.
He was like, and you be interviewing, so how did it feel?
And then you would be across the table talking about,
that was funny that you're getting
interviewed by the person that
cheated on you.
That was true.
Yeah,
and because he wouldn't have done that to anybody else, honestly. So
I don't think he would have done it to anybody else because I don't actually think anybody would have said anything. To me, just the whole thing didn't really, I don't want to say it didn't sit well with me. It was just kind of like, when everybody talks about the whole situation, I'm kind of like, well, they didn't actually like discuss it because they were like, hey, let's talk about this. This dude was making videos and talking about it and nobody knew about this until August Alsina started talking about it, which then forces them to now have to either we just let it lie or we just address it now and discuss it. So they talked about it or whatever the case may be. And then, you know, that joint comes out. They go to the Oscars and then on the red carpet, I forgot what that girl was that was talking.
Laverne Cox.
Yeah, she brings up the entanglement thing at the Oscars on the red carpet. And you could tell when she brought it up, they were kind of like, really? Like, we talking about that here? Like, come on, man. And then now you get on stage and you talking crazy. So it's just like, all right, like.
But he didn't mention the entanglement. He mentioned he was talking about the hair situation.
The G.I. Jane.
Did
But
y'all
you
did
know
y'all
how
see?
Black women are.
Yeah, I just think it was one of those like somebody's gonna say something that's gonna be the last straw. It doesn't mean that it was him, but
Right.
I mean, like, it's not like Will Smith is some little punk. Dude's like a 6'3", 230-pound
Right.
dude. So
Well, he
like,
mentioned that. He was just like, yo, he was in Muhammad Ali.
Ali, right.
It's just like he's bigger than me.
Did
I
y'all
was
watch
Pookie.
did y'all
It's
watch
like-
did y'all watch the Marlon Wayans special on HBO Max?
No.
No.
Watch that. He's talking about the Oscars and the whole situation and how he was so happy. Well, y'all watch it. Watch it. It's piggyback off of
Nah, I gotta see it.
it's piggyback off of the Oscars.
But he also said that he really loved Will.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was a fan, you know what I'm saying? And
wrong
clearly.
place, wrong time.
Look,
Like you were the one that put the last straw on the camel's back. It's an unfortunate incident,
Mm-hmm.
but that's kind of what it was. Like as he said, how many people were talking about you and all this other stuff. You just so happened to probably be the only one who was talking about him. He ain't gonna slap a girl.
right.
So you're probably the last dude who was in his face dissing him and his wife or dissing his wife or whatever the case may be. And it was just like, nah, son,
Right.
like something's got to give.
Right.
But I love that last
I
line.
still can't believe that happened.
I love the last line that Chris said.
Mm-hmm.
My parents taught me not to fight in front of white people.
And I was raised like that too.
Yeah, I was raised like
Just imagine
And he dropped that mic hard.
2 Black men would have fought at the Oscars. Like think
It
about
was rolling back and forth on that.
like think about where
right.
it could have gone.
Right.
But can
Like
we just rewind back to 2022 after he slapped him, after he walked up on the stage and slapped him? Because everybody has a breaking point. Yes, we know everybody has a breaking point. This is the Oscars. This is the stage, the quote unquote most illustrious stage that every actor wants to be on in their career. And Chris Rock is doing his little monologue, and Will Smith walks up there and he slaps him. And then Chris Rock is like, whoa. And then Will Smith fixes his jacket, walks back to his seat, and he's yelling at the top of his lungs. Lupita Nyong'o is looking at him like, what the?
She was like, her mouth was open.
And Jada was smirking and laughing. Then Denzel, Tyler Perry, Bradley Cooper had to rally the troops and was just like, dude, you're wilding, you're bugging. What's going on? Come on, let's pray. We got to do whatever. And then Will Smith wins the Academy Award for his role as
but that was already planned.
Listen,
Like,
listen. He wins the award and he goes on stage and he gives this impassioned speech and talks about how he's here to protect women. And how he feels like that is his role, to protect women.
Protect his wife.
No, he said he feels like his role in life is to protect women.
Oh, probably because his mother.
And then he cries and he does all, and he gets a standing ovation when he wins they call his name. Okay. And then after the award show, he goes out for his post-Oscar party and he's getting jiggy with it. Not getting jiggy with it.
He had it in his hand. He was waving.
There is something wrong.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I never judge anybody on their
Lord.
because we've all said something we shouldn't have. We've all done something
You
we shouldn't
are
have.
preaching
So I will
to the
never
You
judge
preaching to the choir.
anybody for their worst mistake. That is something that is going to go down in history. It'll be
talked about
even after he's long
in
gone.
3,000.
His kids, his grandkids, it's going to be, so it's just something that will always be. So I mean,
mental health.
It's a real thing.
It is.
It's a real thing. You never know what someone is going through.
Yeah, better stop playing with people.
Right, that's why stop playing with people. That's the thing.
People.
But see, that's the thing. Where is the cutoff? Where is the cutoff? Because this is obviously Jada had her entanglement. She chose this young man to entangle with. Now, clearly, he was not mature enough to keep what is done in the dark. So she had this whatever with this young man, and he was like, snitch. And he told everybody, and what she thought was going to be something intimate and private became a public thing, and not only embarrassed her, but embarrassed her entire family. And you can't just wipe that away and just be like, okay, I'm going to continue my red table talk, and it's not going to affect, it's not going to affect my family. It's not going to affect my husband's pride.
So how do they move past it if we don't move past it?
Listen, that's their business. I got my own business. I'm out here trying to keep my head above water. I'm flying everything out this piece. Listen, I'm just having a conversation. I'm having dialogue. But all I'm saying is, as a woman, that's another. She made a decision. She made a conscious decision. As was it Vivica that said her son brought this dude to them wounded, and instead of you counseling, I'm just saying.
Crazy.
It sure is.
And from all of that, you can say that had nothing to do with that slap, but that slap had the Emancipation movie in it. That slap had everything.
His mom.
That slap had everything in that.
But I think it's it was Will Smith. Everybody had this idea of the Fresh Prince. He's perfect, he's clean, he's cut and wholesome, and he had a bad day. He had a really bad day.
It's just unfortunate.
He slapped some other dude on the red carpet.
What?
When the dude tried to kiss him or something, where he slapped dude on the red carpet.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
I remember that.
Will Smith.
Oh, so he got a little. I mean, I was
white dude tried to hug him, dude was interviewing him and tried to hug him or something extra. Dude,
You know what? It's an honor to be smacked by Will Smith. At this point.
He made $40 million, man.
Right.
Listen.
Call him up. Can you slam me in front of a bodega?
Please do it.
Hey, hold on. Let me get my phone. Now, hold up.
Right.
All right. Go ahead.
Right here.
I don't sue you. I just do a little comedy club show and charge $100 a seat.
Sure.
It's an honor.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, he made a special about it. He could say whatever he wanted to say because he was the one that was embarrassed on stage. So
Yeah.
Shouldn't have been talking shit.
So then comedy, basically you're saying that comedy.
No, I think there was just, I thought the slap was just everything that had happened. And then again, that whole entanglement thing coming up on the red carpet at the Oscars. And then I thought in the moment when Chris Rock was making fun of Jada, if you remember when he was talking about the other actors, he wasn't making any personal jokes. Like he was talking about movies. He was making a personal joke about her.
Hair. Right.
So to me, it just hit different. Like even when he was saying it, I was like, well, it seems like a little personal. So like you weren't talking about the other white people like that.
Right.
But you were talking about her like that. And I think they just, based on all this stuff, again, as he said, people have been talking about you. I just think nobody said it to his face. Nobody said it around him. Yeah, you said it on your radio show where he's not. But now somebody said something to me outside. I'm in here. Somebody now is talking again. Nah, it's a wrap for that.
And because this isn't the first time he's.
And then, yeah, exactly. Chris Rock had his last situation.
Stuff, yeah. So it was just like.
At the end of this comedy joint, I was like,
name.
Yeah, at the end of his stand-up, I was just like, yo, we'll slap this nigga again. I ain't even gonna be mad.
Right. Honestly, I think he gonna
get that one.
Because he was trying to be tough to me in the stand-up. And it's like, yo, you not that dude. So I'm like, you're not. So stop talking like you are because you on stage now. So it just came off mad fraudulent to me, like, nah, so you ain't that dude.
And you playing.
But you know,
I don't want to hear, oh, he wouldn't do this to somebody else. You don't know that. Because as you sitting here talking about, he's such a big guy and he's Muhammad Ali and he's this. All right, so then stop saying he wouldn't do it to somebody else because you do. It ain't the first time he slapped somebody on the red carpet. It ain't like he ain't from Philly. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he makes jokes and all this other stuff, but you don't know who these people really are. Man, that's Deadshot. Suicide Gang. Suicide Squad, excuse me. You know what I'm saying? That's Mike Lowry.
That's Mike Lowry, yeah.
Hostile Fuego.
Right.
but you don't know, I really feel like, because I know you was like, he was acting real angry and hard, but part of me feel like it was heartfelt. Like he kind of like, you know, how Kaya said he was foaming at the mouth and like you could tell like he was just angry. And like how you said, like he was waiting to jump in the rope because I felt it. Like I felt his anger. And he's been holding on to that for 355 days.
Shout out to Will Smith for getting him $40 million because that joint was trash. And the only reason I watched it was literally for the 6 minutes at the end. I thought all the jokes were terrible. I thought the jokes were mad drawn out and dry. That Kardashian joke, I was like, bro, get to the point because I'm not sure where you going with this. Like there was, and then he like even the abortion jokes, like this stuff with usually Chris Rock to me, I don't even think he's that great of a comedian. Everybody always like, he's a legend, not to me. I think he's more so one of those real smart, genius kind of funny dudes who just has a way of manipulating things and then making you see the bigger point with, you know, with his comedy. But I don't really find him to be funny to me. Like he's not. I've never been like, yo, Chris Rock special was hilarious. Not really. But with this, it was just like, all right, like it was just mad cringy. Like I was just like, all right, I don't even really know if I want to finish this. I'm gonna just watch it because I want to see the Will Smith part. And I guess that's at the end. So I gotta get through the rest of this hour and change. But it was mad. It was real whatever to me. Like the abortion part of it, oh my gosh. Like the only funny part to me was like the Michael Jackson R. Kelly part.
Oh yeah.
That was in like the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Selective outrage.
I
suffered through that.
I think the most funny part throughout this whole thing was who sent it. Was it you, Noone, that sent the the gif of somebody walking the trash to the
Yeah,
garbage
yeah.
and doing. I think that was like the fun. It was more funny than the actual special. Like,
Oh, y'all done tore my black Chris Rock up. That ain't right. That ain't right.
Hey, he got his money. I ain't mad at him.
I don't think
too,
it was
'cause I'm-
that bad. I don't think it
Man,
was
they
that
ripped that
bad.
shit to shreds. Like,
Like,
it's
Basura.
not funny. Like I just.
well, if you did not know, even though Chris Rock made $40 million on Netflix, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett are also doing their thing on Netflix. Will Smith has his Amend documentary, The Fight in America for America, on Netflix, and Jada Pinkett Smith has her documentary of African Queens on Netflix. I actually started watching that as well.
I gotta watch it.
So they're also doing their thing on Netflix. So don't
And I
think.
think the first two Bad Boys is on Netflix.
Yo, they
Yeah.
just wrapped it up.
Like a lot
So
of
don't think
It's
Chris is
on
the only
Netflix.
one getting a little chinga ching ching on Netflix. The
All right, let me
Smiths.
ask you. Oh, I'm sorry. Finish it. I'll ask you a question.
I'm just saying the Smiths are being paid handsomely as well.
All press is good press.
Shout out to Will Smith. Because without him, this 40 million wouldn't be possible. The slap heard around the world. Chris Rock got slapped for $40 million.
that's dope.
Basically, we
Just
can say.
slap
That was an
me.
investment slap.
Slap me.
And
Go ahead.
wondering.
What was Chris Rock doing prior to getting slapped?
I was
Nothing.
gonna say, I'm wondering if any of his previous specials were of that amount, like of that.
Interesting. I would love to know.
Like I'm just saying, like I'm wondering if this was probably his biggest
Had to be. They did a live event.
payout, right?
Yo, I typed in Chris Rock's name. I didn't even know this nigga had a Netflix special before this.
I honestly, if I was Will, I would just write a post and just say you're welcome. That's it.
That's clever.
And the Moana voice.
I mean, yo, Will
You're
Smith
welcome.
is taking care of the Rock family. I mean, even the
Oh,
other
come on.
no, because even
Come
the
on.
other unfunny bro. What's the other brother? What's Tony? He was out there doing stand up after, like, yo, you don't slap my brother. Like, nobody cares about you, but you out there now getting press on comedy doors because of Will Smith.
It's all of us. Like,
Yo, he did y'all a favor, brought y'all back to life.
That.
Chris
Damn.
Rock ain't nobody care about Rock since Bigger and Blacker.
What you just said?
And ain't nobody care about Chris Rock since Bigger and Blacker. And that joint came out in like 98, along with that Champagne Room.
Well, if you haven't, check out Chris Rock's special on Netflix. And you let us know what your thoughts are on Selective Outrage.
I'm gonna get up on stage and call this woman a bitch like 45 times. Like, you need to get hit harder.
Right.
Like you are doing entirely too much. You wouldn't have did that to anybody else. I bet you wouldn't. I bet you won't say none of what you're saying right now to his face.
You don't need to now. He got $40 million.
Shout out to Will Smith.
You're welcome.
He is doing the Patrick Swayze and Dirty Dancing all the way to the bank. Okay, side looking everything. Okay.
Will Smith slapped you and gave you a whole comedy tour. You're welcome.
You're welcome.